Hello everyone. Today my face is full of smiles. Now this is what you will find on everyone in our village these days. This is because of the water project that is ongoing. It has brought the smile on all faces, the old, the young, the women, and the men. Now, I want to give you a brief information about water for you to know why water is so important for us. Water from where we are located is a bit some kilometers from there, and while I was still at home with my parents, we could go water very far while going for digging. You know, we could go to gardens at around 4 a.m. in the morning, and then at around 6 a.m. that's when you leave the gardens and then go for water. Now the sad thing is you would go and find when the line is long. This is because everyone needed to go very early in the morning to get water, and yet you have to report to school at around 7 to 8 a.m. If you go later than that, you will be caned for going late to school. So as a child in that time, if this water was there where you can just go without pumping, no long lines, go open the water and it flows for free, that would have been a game changer. I believe now in this time where many children have to do that because that is our life, we know that we can't change it in one day, but there are many people who still have to go for water in the morning before going to school. But also women have to, collect water, and men after coming from the gardens to go and use. Imagine when you're very tired, you have to go and then pump again water, go home, start cooking. It is very hard, but now this is bringing a solution. As you can see, here are women from fetching water. They are from fetching water, but they are carrying these jerrycans on their heads, and they are carrying this from a very far distance. So we believe that the houses and community members who are around this water project are going to benefit a lot, because you just have to fetch here, carry in your hands, and then move close to your home and have water without having to go through a very hard time. Yeah, so that being said, we are making this project in remembrance of David, who was our lovely subscriber and supporter, and it is Julie who is supporting, who is the wife. Now I want to just take you through the process of this water drilling before we reached the stage where you are now seeing water. The plan is to have water that is being pumped by electricity from underground. Then we will have tanks that are elevated, and from the tanks water will flow by gravity to lower levels to supply in the gardens, the clinic, the office where we have other departments of our clinic, the milling house, the poultry, and all gardens that are on our land, that is around 10 acres. Now, how we started is we first brought the surveyors, and that is the video that I uploaded fully on YouTube and you saw. So the surveyors came and identified the area that was having enough water, and we needed water that is not just used for domestic work, but we also needed water for irrigation. That means we needed to go for what they call a production well, which is different from the traditional boreholes that they dig, where you pump by hand and it can only supply the community members. A production well is able to give us more than 10,000 liters of water within the 24 hours, and according to the pump testing that we did, our well is able to supply those amounts without any problem. The other side is, it is good, it can give you all that, but it is an expensive one. The next stage was to identify a competent company that was going to do this work well, because you can get a lot of people who will claim they know how to do the work when they can't do. Now we have people who dig by hands, like we did our well in the farm. The downside is that we have that well, but because they dig by their hands and they go there physically and the hole is a bit big, the risks of it collapsing, so they usually go few meters, around 15 to 20 meters. And also the water that comes from there, it is usually there during rainy season, and in a dry spell like where we are now, that water tends to dry, and as I talk, it is dry, so we're not having water. Then there are those ones who have also small vehicles. They can also drill, but they can drill and go to around 30 meters. If you find there enough water in 30 meters, that will be your luck, but it is not the case most of the time. That's why when we wanted to drill our borehole, we wanted to make sure that we get a vehicle that has enough equipment to give us what we need. So we went for a company that was having a big vehicle with all the equipment that are required. We hired it, and the first stop was to get some fuel. As you can see, these things are very big, the vehicles are big, so they had to use a lot of fuel. Over 500 liters of fuel were used on that day, and we traveled with them to the village. As you can see, we are passing the clinic, entering our site where we are going to do the water drilling. So after reaching the site, we had, of course, to do the clearing, where it included cutting bananas. But the bananas that we cut are going to put the leaves again, and they will bear fruit, so there is no worry. We know how this works, so we didn't make any loss of the banana, and the tree that we all wanted, it also remained in place without cutting it down. So we started the water drilling, and as you can observe, it took a very long time. We entered in the place in the morning hours, and we left late in the evening. This is because we had to go deeper than what most people may do. We found some water at a level of around 30 meters, but that water was just not enough. So they had to go to a distance or a depth of more than 70 meters. That's where they found a big water base that is giving us this big amounts of water, or large amounts of water that you are seeing. Now, initially we thought that we were going to do half casing. That is where you only put the pipes up to a distance or up to a depth where the soil ends, and the side where there is a rock down, you leave it, because you expect that the rock will keep patent the space that you have established. The downside is our area where we found this much water, the rocks were not very strong, so there was a risk of these rocks collapsing in future. So we ended up bargaining with the people who did the water drilling, and they increased the price, but they did for us full casing. That means the pipes have gone way down to the water source or the water base. But this gives us that assurance that it will never collapse. So after that, they had to do the construction, of course, around these pipes that we have to put that metallic stuff that is on top. He told me they call it the pedestrian, but of course I don't know much about that. So of course I had to accept. I hope you all know that. If you don't know, that is what they told us, and I hope you will just get that. Yeah, so after that, the next step was to get a very good pump that will help to pump water over a long distance. For example, the distance from the hall to the clinic and the other house is over 100 meters. That means we will need a pump that is able to pump water to a distance of more than 200 meters. And that's why we went for a big pump. So the pump that we have put is a bit expensive, but it is strong and it's able to pump water over a long distance. Also, the distance between the hole and the milling is over 100 meters, and between the hole and the poultry farm is over 200 meters. So the next step, like I said, was to get that pump, but also to purchase other materials that will move the water, the wires that will bring the power from the milling house to the pump, which is more than 100 meters, and we had to get very strong pipe and the wires to do the work well. So we bought the pipes, and we also bought 2 1,000-liter capacity tanks, 2 of them, and we also bought a 10,000-liter capacity tank. We bought connectors and then the taps that we are going to put on these tanks and the pipes that we are putting. We also wanted to buy a stand that is going to hold the 2 tanks, because we wanted this water to flow from a very high distance for us to be able to get like a high gravity force that will push this water to many areas where we need it. So we needed something that is long, and for you to increase the height, it means you have to increase the thickness or the strength of the materials that we need to use. So when we went and made an inquiry, it required us to pay 12 millions for the stand, and that was way too much for us to afford. So we had to just make ours, and when we did that, we ended up having the price. So as I talk, we finished that up. We have put the stand, and the water is coming out very well. We want to be done with the whole work come next week, and that is when we hope to launch the water. But the water is enough, and it is safe and clean for drinking. It has been tested. Everything is very okay, so it is going to be for domestic use, for drinking, and everything. I love you all, and see you in the next video. Bye.